I wish it could go back to the way it was. It's not easy now because my whole family thinks I'm gay. I guess it's always been that way. You know I'm a gangster, you know I do coke, but I had to go to diet cause it burned my throat. I've been doing drive-bys all of my life, except the bullets on newspapers. The car is my bike. Hey, I'm Santa Claus, I'm the king of snow. I hate my wife because she is a ho ho ho. Hey, I'm Bo Burnham. Alley-oop. Goal. Hey kids, basketball is fun. But you know what isn't? Drugs. Walking through the garden with food at my feet. Picked up the celery but dropped the beet.
In the beginning of YouTube, there was Bo Burnham. YouTube was created in February 2005, and Bo's first upload happened 4 days before Christmas 2006, when he was 16 years old. Bo was a bright, lanky 6'3" kid who had just switched from public school to St. John's Prep, a private all-boys Catholic school in a Boston suburb, where his mother worked as a school nurse, so he got free tuition. As a student, Bo was fixated on getting high grades, and once wrote an extra 10-page paper so he could nudge a B+ into an A-. Growing up, he had unrelenting stomach problems and spent hours each day in the school bathroom. For a while, doctors thought he might have a hole in his intestines, but he later realized it was anxiety. Bo was performing skits in front of his family since he was 3, in part because his parents were huge fans of stand-up comedians like Richard Pryor and George Carlin. Bo idolized them and wanted to be a comedian too. In high school, he joined the theater program where he fell in love with performing arts, saying, quote, "It was like my first real love. One of the greatest times of my life was being a part of that program," end quote. During summer theater, Bo entertained his classmates by writing silly, crude songs on piano along the lines of South Park. His first YouTube upload happened because he wanted to share one of these songs with his brother, who was still at college.
Like, I didn't know what YouTube was. You know,
Yeah.
I made these, I had written these silly songs and wanted to show my brother,
Smart songs.
who was at college. Yeah, but I mean, mostly weird. And I wanted to show my brother who was at college, and someone was like, oh, there's this site, YouTube, where you can post a video and then share a link with somebody. I mean, truly, that's what I was doing. So yeah, that's what I did. I sent it to my brother, and then it became something else.
In his first video, Bo appears in the corner of his bedroom wearing a Shakespeare in the Park t-shirt.
Hi gang, just woke up, so I thought I'd serenade you with a song. Maybe it's cause of the way I walk that makes them think that I like boys.
Within weeks, My Whole Family Thinks I'm Gay appeared on Break.com, a site aimed at males under the age of 35, and took the video from a couple thousand views to over 1 million. Burnham followed this single with more mischievous songs, including a guitar ballad about Helen Keller and a rap called 3.14 Apple Pie. With his vulgar humor and schoolboy charm, Burnham's songs garnered millions of views and established him among a new breed of performer, YouTube celebrity. YouTube was still less than 2 years old and looked way different from the polished platform we know today. Back then, it resembled something more like a version of America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah, I don't think I would have worked now. I don't think I would have been discovered. It's a bummer. I don't like.
Why is that, do you think?
Because YouTube turned into a fucking studio and a network, and you go to the trending page and it's fucking
Late night
clips, movie trailers, and music videos. It's like, fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when we started, it was like, this was going to be the people's medium that was like cool and different. There wasn't like a thing you should be. There wasn't a format.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, people were just doing random shit.
As Bo continued to release edgy songs about white supremacy, disabilities, and homosexuality, his fame and recognition grew. But the Bo of today says he's embarrassed by these early videos and thinks they're immature and distasteful.
I'm in the unfortunate position, and I think a lot of people will be online, where like, this stuff I thought was funny when I was 16 is online for everybody to see. And like, I defy anyone to look at the stuff they wrote when they were 16 and think that that's like morally outstanding.
I hope that people have an ability to think and fail out loud, and to grow. I have embarrassing, offensive, bad material from when I was 16 and 17. Stuff I cannot stand behind.
You know what I mean? Truly, I have a song about like Helen Keller. It's not funny. It's actually mean. It's like mean and not cool and cheap. I'm pretty ashamed of it. But am I that ashamed that I was 16 and thought that was funny? No, I can kind of forgive myself for it.
After his virality on YouTube, Bo was able to parlay his talent into more traditional mediums. During his senior year of high school, as he was studying for his SATs, a Hollywood agent called offering to represent him. He had been accepted to Harvard, Brown, and NYU's theater program, but deferred admission so he could do stand-up full-time. When Burnham was 17, Judd Apatow, comedian and director of Knocked Up and The 40-Year-Old Virgin, saw him perform at Montreal's Just for Laughs festival and was impressed, saying, quote, "Unlike everybody else who struggles for years to figure out how to be funny and have some presence on stage, he was riotously funny and entertaining from moment one. He found a way to express that time of your life when you're young and both incredibly cocky and completely insecure at the same time," end quote. At the age of 18, Burnham became the youngest person to record a half-hour comedy special with Comedy Central and signed a 4-record deal with Comedy Central Records. He released his first EP, the 6-song Bo for Show, on June 17, 2008, and his first full album, the self-titled Bo Burnham, was released on March 10, 2009. The following year, Burnham taped his first 1-hour stand-up special, entitled Words, 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 which aired on Comedy Central on October 16, 2010.
A man is an eagle, yeah, a woman is a dove. Women can fake orgasms, but men can fake love.
In Bo's next creative endeavor, he wrote, executive produced, and starred in a sitcom on MTV called Zach Stone is Gonna Be Famous, about a recent high school graduate who decides to spend his life savings on a camera crew to follow him around and film his path to becoming a celebrity, even though he doesn't possess any real talent.
Well, of course we'll help out. Yeah, okay, we'll see you soon. Susan passed away last night.
I don't know what that is.
Ex-step-grandma Susan. Grandpa's 4th wife.
Susan, I'm gonna take it again.
What do you mean you're gonna take that again? Oh, Jesus.
Zach. Really, Jesus? Really? Really?
Zach doesn't know exactly what he wants to be famous for, so in each episode he tries a new method to reach his goal of fame and fortune. From singing to becoming a celebrity chef to going missing in hopes of winding up on the local news, Zach will try everything he can, no matter how it affects the people around him. Burnham described the show as a dark satirical comedy that mocks the shallow priorities of our culture.
It's more about like passionless pursuit of fame, which is always very confusing to me. People who have a passion for fame rather than, I always thought I had a passion for writing or telling jokes or doing music, and that just happened to be something that if you can get successful at it, people will know you for it, you know. But it started with a passion for that, and Zach has none of that. Zach just wants the fans and wants the attention.
In many ways, the show was ahead of its time and likely aired on the wrong network, as MTV decided to cancel the show after just 1 season. After enduring his first flop, Bo transitioned back to live performance and released his second comedy special entitled What, which was released in 2013 on his YouTube channel and Netflix.
The world's so sad, bros. Pain, genocide, war, sexism, racism. But I gotta remember there's good things about it too. Like the fact that none of that's happening to me. Score!
This special is flashier and more theatrical than his previous work. Bo uses creative backing tracks that turn his performance into what feels more like a play. Each stutter, and sentence you hear Bo speak is planned and executed with meticulous precision, and Bo lets the audience know it.
Art is a lie, nothing is real. So, we grow up.
Burnham's comedy is refreshing because it's relentlessly self-aware, and at times tragic. It's simultaneously real and surreal. Burnham talks about religion, modern pop stars, and drops in a few poignant personal confessions.
I want to do a little bit of relatable comedy for you guys. Unlike you guys, once a week I like to slip into a deep existential depression where I lose all my sense of oneness and self-worth. And what I like to do in order to assure myself that I am unique, and I'm not just one of many small, white, indistinguishable, perfectly cylindric checker pieces in Jesus and Satan's backgammon game, is I'll say a group of words that I think no one has ever said in that order, so that when I say it, I feel like, look at me, participating in this new moment that no one's ever been a part of. So I'll say something random like peanut butter tribadism, or I'm your father and I loved your comedy show.
In this special, Bo found his signature balance between songs and actual stand-up, a style that he'd refine even more in his third special, Make Happy, which was released exclusively on Netflix in 2016. This special is less funny and more personal than his previous work. This time around, he takes on power structures and targets his punchlines at people with influence and wealth. For example, he satirizes celebrity worship and tells the audience to shift their attention.
Entertainers, they are lying and they are manipulating you, and it's not in the good way. It's like advertising. You deserve better. I'm not saying I'm it, but I'm the guy that says you deserve better. You go get better. You say, thank you, weird man, bye. How dare they think that them fucking around is worthy of your attention? Them playing Pictionary, your attention's a valuable thing. I worked for 3 years to get it for an hour, and I barely get there. See?
This special is seemingly less for entertainment, and more so him begging the audience in front of him to really think about what they consume and how it's affecting them. The special ends with a Kanye-inspired rant about his problems called Can't Handle This. It starts out silly, with Bo complaining that Pringles cans are too small, and his Chipotle burrito is too messy, but by the end of the song, the tone shifts drastically to emotional, introspective themes surrounding his fears and anxieties about being a performer.
I know very little about anything, but what I do know is that if you can live your life without an audience, you should do it.
Shortly after the special aired, he followed his own advice and abandoned stand-up. During the tour for Make Happy, Burnham's anxiety was strangling him. Anxiety had always been in his life, manifesting in stomach problems that left him hospitalized in high school. But now he was having panic attacks on stage.
It's weird to be having a panic attack on stage and they don't know no one ever knew I was having a panic attack.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not catching my breath for 20 minutes. Every line is barely coming out of my breath. My vision is tunneled and I'm killing.
Yeah.
I'm killing in a 2,500 seat theater.
After the first show, I sobbed backstage.
Wow.
because like, I mean, I slept 2 hours the night before. I was shaking like,
Yeah.
it was rough.
These bouts of anxiety led to some awful live performances that made Bo feel like a failure.
You fail and you fall on your face and you suck and you feel pain and embarrassment and shame and endure it. And then you go, I'm still here, maybe. Do I want to do that again? Do I want to be in the position where I want to do that again? And for me, it was no.
Burnham took time off to pursue other creative avenues while trying to care for himself and get out of his own head. He swapped the stage for the camera and directed comedy specials for fellow comedians Gerard Carmichael and Chris Rock. He then wrote and directed his first motion picture entitled 8th Grade, about an awkward middle school girl navigating the minefield of modern adolescence. The idea came to him when he was inside of a shopping mall and noticed a young girl sitting alone on the edge of a fountain looking sadly at her phone. He said here was a girl that 95% of the time was in her head, worried about how she looked. And then, in her falsest moment, as if being held hostage, she went and immortalized herself with a selfie, showing off a huge grin and throwing up a peace sign. This chasm between the lonely, self-conscious girl and the confident image she was putting out into the world fascinated Burnham. He realized she was performing too, and we all are.
And it was this sort of revelation that I had at the end of Make Happy that led to this thing, which is that my particular experience is not particular. I think it is actually like very, very common to my generation. And that like, yeah, that being a performer, having a brand, being your own publicist, maintaining yourself out loud, is not unique to my circumstance. It can actually be seen in the regular life of any old 13-year-old girl just going through the world.
I watched a lot of videos of kids online talking about themselves. The boys talked about Minecraft and the girls talked about their souls, so I obviously wanted to write about a girl. The boy story would have been like 90 minutes of Fortnite references, which I wasn't as excited about.
Kayla, the film's protagonist, is a girl struggling to navigate the social hierarchy in her middle school. She isn't bullied or humiliated. Instead, she's overlooked, which is a different and complicated kind of suffering. She is shy and awkward, and likes to make motivational YouTube videos that nobody watches, where she gives advice about confidence and being yourself.
Hey guys, it's Kayla back with another video. Okay, so first things first is, I haven't been getting like a lot of views or whatever on my videos, so if you guys could share, like with your friends and stuff, I would really, really appreciate it. Okay, so the topic of today's video is being yourself.
Bo said he auditioned a couple hundred kids for Kayla, but Elsie Fisher was the only one who had callbacks. He said every other kid felt like a confident kid pretending to be shy, but Elsie felt like a shy kid pretending to be confident, which is exactly what the role is. Bo said, quote, "Every kid in a movie is so snappy, and they know exactly what they're saying, and that just rings so false for me," end quote.
But yeah, it was just letting her be herself and letting all the kids, giving them permission to be inarticulate, because that is the experience of being young. I didn't say a complete sentence until I was 20. You know what I mean? Truly, you know what I mean? The experience of being a kid is like you just drank a glass of milk and now you're like, oh, you know what I mean? So like that was a huge part of the movie, is that for the movie to be articulate at the level of a 13-year-old.
In the film, Kayla constantly scrolls through Instagram and Snapchat and struggles to participate in a real world that often feels terrifying. Bo does a remarkable job capturing the gravity of being a teenager, a time in your life when even little interactions can feel like life and death.
A regular day to a kid is life and death. Can we portray a regular day and make it feel like life and death? You know, it's like stories like Harry Potter and like, you know, it's like they think like, I think people think it's escapism for kids, but I think it's realistic to them. Like I think like going over and talking to your crush feels like going over to slay the basilisk or whatever. So it's like Fault in Our Stars, it's like, I'm in love and I'm dying, because like that's what love feels like at that age. It feels that intense. The idea was, can you just take the sort of mundane, regular experience of their life and make it feel thrilling, make it feel can you sync the audience's heart rate with hers? And if you've done that, that's all. So the hope is that you get to the end of the movie and you go, oh, that was so intense. And it's like, well, what happened? I guess you just went to a pool party and went to the mall and nothing really happened. But I just think the experience of being a kid is different than how you remember it. The internet, when it was me, it was like, oh, YouTube, post something you do there. As opposed to what the internet is now and YouTube and all these things. Live there, be there. Facebook, MySpace, what I had, create a little website, your interests, your profile picture. That's very ornamental or something. What the internet is now for kids, Twitter and Instagram, what do you think? What do you look like? What do you think? What do you look like? Those are base, weird, deep questions that are being asked of kids.
8th grade offers acute observations on how social media has warped teen life. Bo said, quote, "The word anxious gets thrown around a lot, but it's a common experience. And I do think it's been exacerbated by social media. I think you're gonna see more and more anxious kids. Maybe we're sensing something very deep and unsettling happening, which is like we shouldn't be doing this to ourselves. We shouldn't be commodifying our own souls and putting it on our phones," end quote.
I can't believe the sort of conversations we're having about the internet are like cyberbullying and Russia. And it's like, well, there's something a little subtler going on.
Yeah.
You know, there's actually something like interior, something that's actually changing our own view of ourselves, our relationship between our head and our heart and our stomach. Oh, this thing really is going after my conscious experience of the world.
Right.
That is so
It is
deeply
weird
troubling
to think, yeah.
And no one thinks of it like that, but of course when you describe it, it is so obvious
Right.
that is
that
what's
you
happening.
go back to the conquistadors were colonizing
Yes,
land,
yes.
and now the new corporations are colonizing attention. You know,
Yeah.
brain space, because that's the only
Free space left,
frontier.
yeah.
8th grade is beautifully cringy, and I love that the star actress looks like a real 8th grader and not some 20-something-year-old wearing a million pounds of makeup. The movie received overwhelmingly positive reviews, and I think it's one of the best adolescent movies I've ever seen. While Bo contemplated his next move as a filmmaker, he got the chance to do his biggest acting role to date as the too good to be true nice guy Ryan in a dark comedy called Promising Young Woman. The film stars Carey Mulligan as Cassandra, a medical school dropout on the brink of 30 who works at a coffee shop and still lives with her parents. She has no professional ambition, no boyfriend, nor any typical interests. She does, however, have a vocation of sorts. Once a week, she dresses up, goes to a club, and is found borderline blackout drunk by random men who pretend to be helping her, but only want to take advantage of a woman clearly not in complete control. When a man inevitably gets frisky, she suddenly reveals she is stone sober and makes him think hard before he attempts a predatory stunt again. Bo said, quote, "The truth is men's behavior towards women tends to be horrifying and hilarious simultaneously. You're laughing at them because they're so pathetic, and then they do something terrifying. It reflects the weird tonal mishmash of life. What I felt after I read and watched it was to look at my own behavior and be willing to go, how have I probably been a part of this? How can the men who are not criminal monsters also change their behavior? It's not just the Harvey Weinsteins and Bill Cosbys of the world that are the problem. It's about the larger, more subtle gradient culture that is also a problem." End quote. Having made a film, acting in someone else's story, and working on and improving his mental health, Bo was finally ready to try and perform live again. But the universe had other plans.
This is truly an unprecedented situation.
This virus doesn't discriminate. It attacks everyone.
I want every American to be prepared for the hard days that lie ahead.
After a 5-year break from comedy, Bo Burnham returned and made you some content. He wrote, directed, shot, and edited a Netflix special in a back house in his backyard without a crew or audience called Inside.
Hi. Welcome to whatever this is. I've been working for the last couple months, testing this camera and testing lights and writing, and I've decided to try to make a new special for real. It's just me and my camera, and you and your screen, the way that our Lord intended. I hope you enjoy it. I hope this special can maybe do for you what it's done for me these last couple months, which is to distract me from wanting to put a bullet into my head with a gun.
Putting together Inside was a major technical achievement, particularly from a music production standpoint. The songs in this special are Bo's best work yet. They're intricate, catchy, and varied. It's also clear that Burnham evolved as a visual storyteller. The framing and shots in this special are stunning. He has great design sensibilities, from shifting aspect ratios to dazzling experimentation with light and shadows. What makes Inside so riveting is that it's an emotional roller coaster. It's hysterically funny one second and heartbreaking and tragic the next. The major theme of the special is around performance and how it's an aspect of everyday life because of social media.
I've learned that real world, human-to-human tactile contact will kill you. That the outside world, the non-digital world, is merely a theatrical space in which one stages and records content for the much more real, much more vital digital space. One should only engage with the outside world as one engages with the coal mine. Suit up, gather what is needed, and return to the surface.
The song Welcome to the Internet is sung in the style of a cartoon villain that just won, where Bo sings about the million ways you can engage online. He describes how overwhelming the internet can be, and when you have access to everything all of the time, it's nearly impossible to feel satisfied. In my favorite song off the special, That Funny Feeling, Bo describes the feeling of disassociation and emptiness. The internet has desensitized us because of our constant consumption of news, tragedy, and fighting. We're tired of the pressure to have an opinion on everything. tired of the backlash to the thing that's just begun. And because we can't break free from our addiction, when we finally do put our phone down for a second, we're left with nothing but that funny feeling.
I don't know about you guys, but I've been thinking recently that maybe allowing giant digital media corporations to exploit the neurochemical drama of our children for profit, maybe that was a bad call by us.
You take a horse and buggy to work, it takes an hour. Then you invent a car and you get to work in 30 minutes. Great, you've actualized that and you've streamlined it. There's no proof that you should do that with your social life and your emotions. You should streamline your emotions. You can talk to 5 people, and now you can talk to 5,000. You were connected with 12 people, now you're connected with everybody. Our social lives did not need to be actualized. They did not need to be made more efficient. And we're applying like capitalist logic to our relationships with each other, with ourselves. It's insane. It really, really is. And it's going completely unchecked. And the decisions are being made by people who have no idea what the actual repercussions of it are, or even the participants are doing.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg versus the senators? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They don't have no idea. It's gonna be like smoking, in 50 years we're gonna go, what did we do to these kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you wanna get the word, if you wanna get the word shit on television, you have to go in front of the Senate. The safeguards to the internet are you 18 and you click yes.
Right.
Sorry, it gets me emotional.
No, it's very upsetting for sure.
In Inside's final moments, a long-haired, exhausted Burnham finally steps out of the room and into a spotlight to the sound of cheers and applause. Bo is showing us that this entire film is a performance. How much of the angst on display is genuine, and how much of it is a show? The answer is likely a little bit of both, but it also doesn't matter. Bo's specials are great because they share a tension at the core that remains unresolved. Everything is a kind of circle, and Burnham is comfortable with contradiction. He should shut up, but he doesn't want to stop talking. He's dying for an audience, but wants to be left alone. He's at war with pop culture, but he is pop culture. He's self-aware, but admits that self-awareness doesn't absolve anyone of anything. In many ways, the internet and Bo Burnham are inextricably linked. That seems to be his cross to bear, the great joy and sorrow of his life. I wonder if Bo had any idea how singular and spectacular Inside was when he finished it. It's a project that is a testament to the sheer power and force of ambition. There's so many subtle nuances and new details I notice each time I rewatch it that make it, in my opinion, the best film of the year. Bo Burnham is the cream of the crop of YouTube kids who rose to the top through sheer talent. He's a true inspiration, and I hope he finds peace and happiness.